Top-down yoke sweaters are so much fun to knit. There is lace and color work and texture, so many things you can do with the top-down yoke. But the patterns are endless. There are just so many of them. How do you narrow down and choose the best ones? That's when I love to ask other knitters about their favorite sweater patterns. It narrows down those choices considerably. So we're going to look at your favorite recommendations for top-down yoke sweaters, along with a few that I think look like a lot of fun as well. Hey nerdy knitter, Tanya here. I'm a certified knitting instructor and a master hand knitter, and I believe that knitting can be a form of self-care, that you can take time for yourself and your creative pursuits, but still create beautiful garments that you love to wear or share with your friends or family. And we're going to dive deep into top-down yoke sweaters. There's so many out there. How do you begin to narrow it down? Well, I asked about your favorites and you shared some great choices with me. So we're going to take a look at some of those. And I found a few to add to that collection as well. One that is currently being swatched and I'm planning to knit. And then I already own the other pattern as well and hope to use that one in the future. So we're going to look at all of those. But the first thing I want to do is actually discuss what makes a top-down yoke sweater. This is a very specific construction style. You start at the neckline and you cast on your stitches. You start knitting right in the round right away generally. You might add some short rows for the back neck, and then you have lots of increases, and they can be worked in a few different ways. You can do sort of like concentric circles where you increase a lot of stitches on one round, knit a few more inches, and then do another increase round where you're adding a lot of stitches. You might do that another third and maybe even a fourth time. And that gets you to the full circumference that you need for the sweater to fit. Then you divide the sleeves and the body, knit the body, come back and finish your sleeves, and then your sweater is complete. There's other ways to add increases along that yoke as well, where you can put them in wedges, as you can see here. From this article from Interweave Knits, they show you different methods for adding those increases where you're still getting all of those stitches that you need in the yoke. It's just another way to do it. There's a couple different ways. Those concentric circles are probably one of the most popular methods, but there are other ways to do this as well. And they all get you there in the end. But once you've finished that yoke, whether you're doing color work or just simple stockinette or some texture or some lace, you divide the body in your sleeves and you finish the rest of that sweater. That's the basic construction. And there are lots of sweater choices out there. So we're going to dive into all of those and see the patterns that other knitters recommend that you knit, and a few that I'm going to add to that list as well. But one thing before we get to that, I just want to tell you about a workshop that I'm running. There's a waiting list you can join down below, and it's going to be coming up within the next month for the next run through of this workshop. We're just finishing up our first run through, and now it's time for the second, where we take a top-down raglan or a top-down yoke and customize it to fit you really well. The things that you can do to really customize the fit of the bust or the sleeves or the body, lengthening and shortening, adding shaping where you need it. All of that is covered specifically for top-down raglans and top-down yoke sweaters. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you'll find the waiting list for the workshop linked down below. So our first recommendation is the Everyday Sweater by Andrea Knits or Andrea Mowry. So this one is just very basic. There's no texture, color work, or anything going on here, but this would be a great beginner sweater. It's just plain stockinette, sort of a crew neck, but it's sort of a high, almost funnel style neck. I think you probably start with a cast on and then knit that neckline. And then you've got your yoke shaping. And it's a nice fitted yoke. It's not super oversized, which I think always looks really good. And then it's just plain stockinette for the rest of the sweater. I don't know if it's two yarns held double. It's sort of like a marled thing going on here. Could just be the yarn that she chose. And then a really deep like 2x2 rib hem and 2x2 rib at the neckline and the cuffs as well. And sort of a cropped length, but length is an easy adjustment to fix if that's something if you want it a little bit longer. But just a really pretty simple basic pattern. You can scroll down and see some of these other pictures as well. Just really cute, really nice wardrobe staple is what I would call this one. So it's $9 US, comes in 9 sizes from a 34 to a 66-inch bust, uses sport weight yarn. And I would put this at probably like an advanced or adventurous beginner. We have short rows here, and short rows aren't sort of like a beginner technique. So I think almost all of these are going to be labeled this way because of the short row shaping. Short rows aren't hard or scary or anything like that. They can be a little confusing the first few times you do them. But if you're like a beginner, short rows aren't the best thing to start with. But once you're past that beginner phase, you're ready to start a sweater, then you should be absolutely fine with any of the sweaters we talk about today, and definitely this one as well. It does include a tubular cast on and bind off as well, which is sort of like another step up from your basic cast on and bind off. But I think she probably has quick tutorials that demonstrate how to do this as well, or you can find them here on YouTube, finding those tutorials to help you do those methods. And it's just another tool to add to your knitting toolbox. Definitely a great recommendation, one of those wardrobe staples. Then we have the Jupiter Crop by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks. Now this one is definitely color work. We've got lots of color going on right here. There we can see a bigger picture of it, and it's got lots of great colors. I think let me see, 5 colors and a sport weight yarn. So you've got color work all over with this one. And it's a cropped length, which of course you can add some more length if you want in like the background color, and short sleeves as well. But also you could continue your sleeves in that background color if you wanted long sleeves. I really love the design on this one. So this one is more fitted. It does have some decreases for the waist and the sleeves, but like I said, that's easy to adjust if you want to lengthen anything. Probably in that, yeah, just in the background color, like keep the color work the way it is and add a little length with just like that dark gray she has for the background there. It's intended to be worn with 0 to 5 inches of ease, so you've got some room to play there if you want, like she's wearing it more fitted, but you could do a more relaxed style as well, and everything would work out just fine. So this one is also $9 US. It comes in 10 sizes from a 34 inch to a 68 inch bust. And I'm talking finished bust measurements here. That's what I usually check when I'm looking at the patterns. Not the bust of the person wearing it, but the bust of the sweater itself. So, and then that gives you some range depending on how much ease you want in your sweater. And again, this is probably an advanced beginner because there are some short rows for the back neck, and you've got all that color work going on. For a first color work project, I like to use like just one alternate color, like a background color and a pattern color. Then you're not dealing with lots of different colors at the same time, because it does look like, especially through here, you're using 3 colors at once, which gets a little more confusing if you're new to color work. So you might want to start with just something a little more simple, but definitely like in that adventurous beginner wheelhouse. Then we have another Boyland Knitworks Caitlin Hunter pattern, her Zweig pattern. Now I have to confess, this one ended in my Ravelry queue because I really like the look of this. So I love the lace texture that's going on here in the yoke. There is some color work too, but just 2 colors. So if you want to explore some color work and you want to keep it simple, you've only got 2 colors here. Now this one is fingering weight yarn and just in those 2 colors. Of course, you could probably swap out more colors if you wanted that here, but I love that you've got all of this textured lace, and I think the body has some texture through it as well, which you can't really see with this yarn color right there, but definitely a very pretty sweater. So texture and color work, that's what this one is definitely all about. Comes in 10 sizes from a 32 inch to a 68 inch bust, and it's $9 US as well. And again, I would say advanced beginner because there's some short rows for the back neck. And then you've got all of these stitch patterns, and it doesn't look like a simple lace. It looks a little more detailed, but I'm not sure about that. I don't have the pattern. And the rest of the sweater it doesn't look like there's much in the way of shaping for the body. It looks pretty straight. Of course, you'll have some shaping for the sleeves to taper them a little bit, but those things are easy to adjust and customize as well. Just a really pretty pattern. I really like this one. Old Woman 123 recommends the Lumme pattern by Sari Nordlund, and this is one that I would recommend for those who want to explore color work. We're just dealing with 2 colors here. You've got your background color and you've got your pattern color. Very simple shaping. It doesn't look like there's any shaping going on here. It does look, I don't know if it's just the way it's hanging here, but the back hem is longer. So perhaps there's some short row shaping that lengthens the back as well to give you sort of a high-low hem. I'm not sure about that, but this is just lovely classic color work. It's just so pretty. And the neckband, I believe, it looks like it's either a tubular edge or it might be a folded neckband. Not sure on that either. So this one is about €7. Comes in 9 sizes from a 31 inch to a 63 inch bust. It's worsted weight yarn, which is also another great way to practice color work. You're not dealing with color work on like fingering weight yarn, you've got just 2 colors, worsted weight, so it's bigger needles, bigger yarn, so you can really get down the motions of how to hold those 2 yarns together. Like the others, I would classify this as an advanced beginner who feels ready for a stranded color work. It's really simple, just 2 colors, worsted weight, and I think there are short rows. There was mention of short rows in the instructions somewhere as well, down here. So yes, definitely in that advanced beginner category. Kristen recommends the Ranunculus, and there was another comment about this as well. The Ranunculus by Midori Hirose. This one is super popular, always at the top of the hot right now list. And there are so many ways to wear this one. You can see it's got long sleeves here and a thicker yarn. This looks more like a lace weight yarn with short sleeves, a thicker yarn here with the long sleeves. Oh, that looks really nice in the thicker yarn, I think. And then very oversized fit. That looks like a thinner yarn there. A really long yoke right here. So lots of choices with this one. Now, when I read the pattern, it's all about lace. Like there is lace, of course, up here in the yoke. And then it's got, the regular pattern has a cropped length. Like you can see, I really like this one right here. You can really see the texture in the lace right there. A cropped length, and then the sleeves, you can see there, I don't know if there's options for different sleeve lengths in the pattern, but something that is easy to adjust. Oh, I like the turtleneck on that one. So there are lots of not patterns, but projects on Ravelry you can look through to get an idea. I like this one. It looks slightly more fitted than some of the other ones. At least the armhole depth looks like it might be a little higher, maybe. It's hard to say. But the pattern says you can use lace, light fingering, or even worsted weight yarn. So I'm not sure how that works out. I guess you would swatch to decide. And comes in 11 sizes from a 46 to a 71-inch bust. It's €6. Still a probably advanced beginner because we have some short rows in there, and selecting when it's really kind of an open recipe with different yarn weights, that's more of an advanced thing as well. But definitely a really popular pattern. I've never seen the pattern in person, so I couldn't tell you how it's written, but I mean, there's a lot of people who have knit this project, so it's popular for a reason, I imagine. Then another Caitlin Hunter Boyland Knitworks pattern. Now this one has a V-neck, which is not as common with a colorwork yoke. With yoke patterns in general, that's usually crew neck. Like you generally see V-necks. So this is a nice change from the usual, and like a lot of Caitlin's patterns, there's lots of color work going on here at the yoke and also down on the sleeves. And of course that V-neck. So it's not like a super deep V-neck, it's very subtle shaping, which I believe is done with short rows, but I'm not sure. More of a relaxed fit with this one. And all that lovely color work. So we've got our stockinette for the body with the color work, and then we've got that rib for the neckline and the hem and the cuff. I'm not sure what's going on with the bind off here. It looks not quite like a standard bind off, something to make it a little thicker and more noticeable. So that oversized fit, it is $9 US, comes in 10 sizes from a 36-inch to a 72-inch bust. Worsted weight yarn in 4 different colors, and like the other patterns, advanced beginner, we've got short rows, we've got this different neck shaping, which is not the norm for a top-down yoke pattern. But the color work doesn't look super difficult. It looks like it's only just going to be two yarns at the same time. You are alternating between colors. But definitely right up there. I really like the neck shaping. I'm curious to see how that is done. I think I might buy this one just to see how she does that V-neck on there. Woodsmoke by Jessica McDonald Designs is our next one. Now this one is a great first sweater pattern. There's even a YouTube video with a tutorial for everything in the pattern and the sizes. There's 20 sizes with this one. 9 child sizes, like baby to 12 years old, and then 11 adult sizes from a 32-inch to a 70-inch bust. And this would be that classic wardrobe staple, like just plain stockinette, and I think, is it knit one, purl one, rib For the hem and the neckline and the cuffs, more of a crew neck style there as well. Oh, that's a good clean shot of it. And it looks like the increases are worked in those concentric circles like we often see. I think most of these patterns so far probably use that method, but I'm not sure. I didn't look at all of them really closely to see how the increases were done. But this is a good classic pattern and YouTube tutorial. So if you're a beginner and you want to tackle your first top-down yoke, this is a great choice for that, especially with all the sizes. So this uses sport weight yarn, and or it tells you can use that fingering and lace weight held double to get the same sort of gauge. It is like a beginner friendly. There are some short rows as well, but with the tutorial, I think that it's definitely more in the beginner category. And I really like the fit on this one. Sometimes I think yokes can be a little too oversized and you end up kind of with the penguin arm effect. You can't raise your arms in your sweater if it's too long in the armhole depth and then not fitting well. It's just a lot can go wrong with the yoke, but this one, well, it fits her really well. And if the pattern and grading is well done, then this would be a good blank canvas pattern as well, where you can probably start to add in your own color work and stitch patterns once you have a well-fitting sweater. So definitely recommend this one. She's a new to me designer, but I was looking at some of her other designs and she's got lots of great things. And then another Caitlin Hunter pattern. Her patterns are very popular when it comes to top-down yoke patterns. This is the Soldotna crop. I'm not sure how to say that one, but again, all over color work going on here, and I really love the colors in this one. So it's that cropped length again, short sleeves, but like the other one, you could use that background color and lengthen the body and the sleeves if you wanted to. Definitely, it looks like there's short row shaping there as well. I like the colors in this one. Now I can't tell if it's the yarn or if there is color work going on down here in the body of the sweater too. If there is, it would definitely be easy, or a texture. There looks like some texture going on. I'm not sure, but whatever's going on, you could continue that to lengthen the sweater as well. So really nice one. This one's $9 US, comes in 10 sizes from 32 to 68 inch bust. It's in DK weight yarn with 4 colors. And like the others, I would say advanced beginner because we have the short rows and you've got 3 colors or 4 colors here for the color work. Now I have a few that I wanted to add to the list. The first one is the Love Note sweater from Tin Can Knits. Now I have to confess I haven't knit this one yet. I've just finished swatching for it recently and I still haven't checked my gauge or anything like that. I need to get my swatch out so I can cast on this sweater. This is the one I'm going to be working on for our next upcoming workshop. I'm going to be working on a top-down yoke sweater, and this is the sweater that I'm going to be knitting. So it's got this lovely lace here, and it's using the 2 yarns held double, the fingering weight sock yarn and then a fuzzy mohair yarn to get that halo in there. So you can see some of the increases worked here, and then all of that lovely lace. Let's look at some of these other pictures as well. And I love, they've got a few different options for the hems. There's sort of a high-low hem, and it's got this cropped length, and you can see some options for like your sleeve lengths as well. So this one is $9 and comes in 7 child sizes and then 8 adult sizes from a 38 to an 80 inch bust. And it's that DK weight or your fingering lace held double. And I think beginners would be fine with this one. There is a provisional cast on, and then there's some short row shaping for that high-low hem, which is optional. But other than those little details, and Tin Can Knits, their patterns are usually very well written. I've read through it and I think it's just fine. So a beginner probably would be fine with this one if you want to knit a top-down yoke. This is a good one. There's just the one yarn. You're not trying to do, or 2 yarns held double, but you're not doing any color work or anything like that. The lace is fairly simple. So probably more on the beginner side of sweater pattern. And my last recommendation is also another one I haven't knit yet, but I have the pattern and I think it's a great way to knit your own sort of color work sweater. This is Strange Brew by Tin Can Knits. Now this one, it's more of a recipe, like it walks you through the process. It has all of your stitch counts for all of the sizes, and it has a whole bunch of color work stitch pattern motifs that you can sort of plug and play into the pattern. You can see here all of the colorwork motifs are different on all of these sweaters, and this is in that pattern. I'm not sure if there's a thing about cardigans in there. I have to go refer to my pattern again, but you can see all of the different color work going on here. Oh, I really like that one. That's nice. But it's more plug and play. Like, it gives you your basic yoke pattern, bottom up and top down, and then all of these stitch patterns where you can sort of decide how you want them to fit in there. So definitely adventurous beginner who's ready to tackle their color work. And color work, you can do it as simple as just the 3 colors. She's got her background color, and then it looks like a couple colors here, and that's perfectly fine. Or just like a background color or lots of colors like that one. So a really great pattern for designing your own color work for your own personal sweaters that you want to knit. Really great fit too as well. I really like when the yoke fits you really well, so you're not doing that penguin arm thing. So this one comes with 7 child sizes, 11 women's sizes, and 7 men's sizes for $12. It's a lot of sizes. And worsted DK and fingering weight yarn, so you get lots of choices here. So definitely something to consider if you want to have more like a basic recipe and then plug and play with all of those stitch patterns and colors that you can think of. You definitely want to take a look at this one. I know it's on my queue to design my own yoke using this pattern as well. So check that one out if you're interested in using a recipe to create your own sweater. Now, if you're interested in taking one of these sweaters and really customizing the fit, be sure to check out that upcoming workshop. You'll find the link for it down below. You can join the waiting list. You'll be the first to hear when the doors are open for our next batch of students. You can take any of these patterns and customize it to fit your body perfectly. And there are so many more patterns that we could discuss, and I'm sure you have some of your favorite top-down yoke patterns as well. And I would love to hear about them. So leave a comment and share your favorite top-down yoke patterns. And if you're looking for more knitting inspiration, be sure to go check out those comments and see what other knitters have to say. They leave the best ideas. So go check out those comments. And if you want to keep talking about more sweater patterns, then check out this video right here where we look at some top-down raglan patterns as well. So click right there, and I'll see you in the next video.